welcome back to the Autism Grown Up channel. I'm Dr. Tara, the host here of all of these videos, and I'm also the executive director here at Autism Grown Up, a nonprofit focused on supporting autistics as they grow up and navigate adulthood. As you can see by the sign, there it is. We begin with adulthood in mind. Today, for this video on Monday, I just wanted to get something out to you all about what we do here at Autism Grown Up and why we think focusing on adulthood in mind is the most important thing we can be doing right now in autism. So to get everyone up to speed, I want to talk first of all about adulthood outcomes. These are the main things that we are seeing from case studies, from talking with autistic adults themselves, from longitudinal studies that have followed students with disabilities for years after high school to see what they're doing, is that we are seeing really poor adulthood outcomes, from employment to education opportunities and independent living. Those are the three main ones that tend to get studied the most, and they're broken down into these three because they are tied into a student's IEP. When they are in high school and they turn 14, and if they have an IEP, they will have a transition plan added to their IEP where they are supposed to identify 2 to 3 post-secondary goals related to employment, education, and independent living. Now, I love preparation, and I think this is exactly why we think about adulthood in mind at any stage. Even if you are already an adult, it's always great to be thinking about how you can better prepare yourself for whatever your next steps are or whatever your goals are. And so I also just want to quickly break down these outcomes, what we are seeing in these areas, link to some research below in the description box that you can check that out, and that this information is legit and is really important to have in the back of your mind, especially when you are talking with other people who are not so familiar with autism or adulthood, because when we think of autism, it still is quite a big misconception to think that autism is only in children, that we don't actually see them grow up, but we do. They actually grow up and become adults and navigate lives all of their own in their own way. So for employment, we are seeing levels as high as 80 to 90% of autistic adults being unemployed, which is a really high number, really unfortunate to see. That's like the biggest statistic that we have that really shows that autistic adults are struggling, when in a lot of societies like ours, we really link people with their careers and what they're doing and think about quality of life related to career. And I know that's a segment all its own to be discussing even further, is like, should employment be related to quality of life? But honestly, that's what a lot of people do, and we're seeing that is really tough for autistic adults to have and keep a job. And for those who do have jobs, they are underemployed, working an average 5 to 8 hours a week, and they're underpaid, often below the minimum wage. And then for post-secondary education options or opportunities, we are seeing less than 20% of autistic adults actually graduate from college. And then for independent living options, we are seeing less than 17% of autistic adults living on their own. So those are all really stark, really bleak outcomes. And I bet a lot of you watching this can confirm this information with me. I can confirm that with you based on so many autistic adults I work with. They may see some positive outcomes related to one area, but really struggle in other areas like independent living. And independent living on its own can be a huge umbrella, like from self-care to organization skills, executive functioning, the list goes on and on. So with these outcomes in mind, with adulthood in mind here, what that could look like for so many, we know that there's so much we can do, there's so much you can do to prepare for and better navigate adulthood. Some research has identified predictors of positive adulthood success that can be attributed to preparation, planning, and providing opportunities in a wide range of areas to practice skills key to independent living, employment, and education, and providing accommodations and supportive environments that shift attitudes attitudes and culture towards autistic adults and neurodiverse adults. Something that has become a model here at Autism Grown Up is our triangle here. This is essentially everything that we've found predictor-wise and have confirmed with many autistic adults in terms of what has been successful for them, to break this down even further into these 3 zones here. So I'm going to back up a little bit from this triangle first, because I do want to go back to a common phrase that we hear many families, many people say once they are leaving the special education service system, is that they feel like they're falling off a cliff of services. They are left on their own essentially to figure out what is next for them, because they're no longer receiving services from special education and protected by IDEA. ADA and Section 504 look quite a bit different, and it's often left to the autistic individual, if they are their own legal guardian, and their family members, depending on their level of involvement. So for those who have prepared for takeoff from the cliff, they have applied for services like the Medicaid IDD waiver as early as they could, and maybe they got off the wait list just in time to start receiving those services after or before leaving a special education, so they can start receiving those services right there. But we also see that services can lag and not meet families and autistic individuals' needs because of a lot of other factors, but can be really supported by an individual support networks, people that support them, who are in their inner circle to outer circle of people that they know they can turn to or rely on or see on a weekly basis, from family members, friends, neighbors, maybe their boss, colleagues, people that they volunteer with, so on and so forth. And then we have the skills to focus on, skills that can help you be successful in employment, in education, and living out on your own, and includes self-advocacy. So having those 2 zones can really help provide the foundations that you need to also be successful in reaching services, because services at the peak here can be really wonderful and extremely helpful, but services realistically are very limited and may not be applicable for everyone. Again, this is where we break things down even further. I'll be making some more videos about how to create your own support network and what are the skills to be really focusing on as you are growing up, or you have a child who's growing up, or you're an autistic adult, or you're supporting, or you have a loved one who is an adult. And our resource center seeks to help provide options and link you to opportunities locally in your community or online to help get you there. So keep this triangle in mind as you are thinking about adulthood in mind, as you're thinking about adulthood outcomes, what you want life to look like for you and your next steps, and are thinking some types of questions like, what am I going to do next? What will adulthood look like for me? Or what will adulthood look like for my child? What are some things I can do as a practitioner to support my clients or students? And what resources are out there to help us get to that next step? So comment below if you have any other questions about adulthood or preparing for adulthood. Be happy to chat there, as well as in our online community linked here. And if you liked this video, hit the like button and then subscribe for more videos just like this one. And there will be another one coming out on Wednesday. That's our podcast, a video version of our podcast. And then Friday, I have another resource review video coming at you. So I will see you all then.